All right, you know what vaping is? I thought it had something to do with vampires or something. No, it's actually a new way to smoke, and I don't know if it's good or not, but we'll examine it tonight.
The Dan Yorke State of Mind program is brought to you in part by Lookout Rhode Island and Takeo Comfort Solutions.
Dino Baccari is a local entrepreneur who has built a business on this technology. I don't know. I'm not a smoker, so I really don't have any personal investment in this, so I'm open-minded about the entire conversation. But we've got new federal regulations, and we've got, I think probably a big learning curve for some of us older than the kids on this, although I guess it's an equal opportunity new habit. I'm not sure how to even describe it, but we will discuss it coming up this evening. How are you? Thank you for checking in my state of mind. There's a lot going on. At the end of the program, we'll note that yet another, it's like a weekly thing now. The weekly special this week is that we've got the majority leader of the Providence City Council who's now under some kind of corruption charge. If it's Wednesday, it's Prince Spaghetti Day. You know, it's just kind of, I don't know, seems like midweek. Anyway, you get my point. Let's go to the rundown and check on some things that are happening, and I'll flip over my script to see what I'm actually discussing. That's what I think. Not nearly enough. And I'm sure that the leadership at the General Assembly will look at this and say, come on, man. You know, we're trying to do what we can do. Leader support ethics measure. It's just a beautiful thing. They're celebrating themselves over this. You know, the bar is so low for government response for the General Assembly to actually comport itself properly that when they finally do something that needs to be done, all they want to do is, I mean, they have got, shoulder injuries. We've done such a great job. But check out the story from yesterday.
Just 1 week after the sudden resignation of former House Finance Committee Chairman Ray Gallison amid a law enforcement probe, House Speaker Nicholas Mattiello is introducing an ethics reform bill, and it comes with the support of Senate President Teresa Paivaweed.
I believe we have a bill that's very good, serves the interests of the public, and will restore faith and trust.
I hope this is the final piece of the puzzle in terms of restoring confidence and trust in an institution which seeks to serve the people of the state of Rhode Island.
Mattiello says the bill will restore the Ethics Commission's authority to the way it was before a 2009 state Supreme Court decision that scaled it back. Under the proposal, the state constitution would be amended to remove specific language granting immunity to lawmakers in their official capacities. That change and a provision barring ethics complaints against candidates in the months before an election would be put before voters this fall. John Marion, the executive director of Good Government Group Common Cause, says the bill is a step in the right direction.
I think it's a good day because after 7 years, we see a bill that seems to have the support of both chambers, which is incredibly important in a bicameral legislature. And so hopefully that means the people of Rhode Island will have a chance to vote on this November.
Okay, so two things. First of all, this 5-month window from June until November, where you protect the incumbent candidate from a charge against them from anybody, an ethics charge. Unless and until I see some resources and more investigators on the Ethics Commission itself, working on staff, that's a problem, okay? All right, so they've put back the language that holds them accountable and can't run and duck on the speech and debate clause. I get that. But, 5-month protections for legislators is just way too comfy cozy. Right, so this is no heroic effort right now. It's a step in the right direction, correct, but it's not any heroic effort. And Teresa Paivaweed, the Senate President, has got to be kidding me. Here's the question of the night. Is she stupid, or does she think we're stupid? The final step or the final component or the final element to restore the confidence, how about things like getting rid of the corrupt grant program? How about things like light item veto? How about revisiting 5-month windows for candidates or incumbents to be able to kind of, slide by whatever might go on there? I understand that frivolous complaints, by the way, getting back to the ethics thing, happen. Well, there ought to be significant penalties for those who file frivolous complaints. The final step, the final component, the final piece. All right, let's calm down, move over to this. This is a huge problem, and Governor Raimondo is making good strides. By the way, Governor Raimondo is asleep at the switch on this good government stuff. She'll sign the ethics thing, You know, where is she on line 9 of veto? There's a big hearing tomorrow, by the way. Anyway, she's doing a good job on this fentanyl. I don't know how much money we should be sending. Here's the headline on the latest underneath there on the bottom right. There we go. Fentanyl is a huge health problem out there. When that stuff's mixed with the heroin, you can kiss your you know what goodbye. And too many people don't understand that. And so she's got a new program here, had a press conference earlier today to talk about the opioid problem. We've done dozens of shows on this on both television and radio. And I share the concern. I'm glad that she's stepping up. Amongst the things that she is suggesting in that press release she issued today, limiting the doses that doctors provide to everyday patients who just have the backache or the toothache or, you know, whatever, to a limited supply so there's less drug running around the medicine cabinet, and having more Narcan available, funding for it for police officers and first responders. So step in the right direction, but a lot more work to do there. And finally, on what's going on around town situation, the CBS Classic is June 26th through the 28th. WPRI 12, of course, will be sponsoring an originating program from there, and there are two local golf heroes, Brad Faxon and Billy Andrade, by the way, and there's Morgan, she is a player. Andrade is just tearing up the Champions Tour, and of course, Brad is tearing up the broadcast booth for Fox. Good stuff. They spoke yesterday.
We hope we can get these guys. We want to make them realize what we have going here, and hopefully that they say, oh, this is really cool, and then they explode and play great, and then want to come back and are loyal to us. It's hard to do.
Yeah, and also, you want them to, as young players, to see what we're doing here in Rhode Island and the difference we're making with the charitable aspect and how much money we're raising, that they can go back to their hometowns and maybe start their own foundation.
This is a jewel event in our neighborhood each and every year. They do a great job, and we're looking forward to it again this year. You can learn a lot about your golf game by following these pros so closely, especially the women, because they have much better tempo. Just saying. Yeah, I don't know what this is, but we're going to find out from our guest tonight. We have a couple headlines here before I cheat to the camera. E-cigarette manufacturers say new regulations will devastate the industry, according to Forbes. Another one, the Journal recently, FDA brings e-cigarettes under federal authority. There were some changes made last week. Dino Baccari is the owner of White Horse Vapor. You're in this business.
Oh yeah, all in.
All in.
Yep, from day one.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us here. It's great.
How'd you get into this?
I started off as a labor of love in downtown Providence, and we literally, our first account was a convenience store, Gourmet Heaven in downtown Providence, across from just off of Way Bassett Street, and we never knew we would come this far. We ended up becoming actually a national brand now, and we're available in a ton of convenience stores. We're the official e-cigarette of Twin River Casino, and it's morphed into so many more things than we ever expected. And we're a national brand now in the franchise.
Are you a vapor? Is that the correct term, by the way?
Vapor, not a smoker.
You're a vapor?
Yes.
What's the history on this? Who came up with this concept? You didn't.
No, I didn't. At White Horse, we make it comes in liquid form. It's called e-liquid. It comes in liquid form. We do make our own e-liquid. We make our own extracts that actually go into the e-liquid. This is a technology that was originally came about actually 20 years ago, but it came from overseas, and Big Tobacco was never involved into it. They actually passed on it years back. And it's actually a simple process. It's not as complicated as it may seem.
No, this is different from, what is that hookah thing?
Hookah?
Yeah, the hookah. That's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, that's not.
That's not what you're doing.
We're committed to getting smokers to quit smoking. So hookah, that's more of a recreational product that you might find at some bars, or maybe you find it at some convenience stores, but we don't even use it in our daily vocabulary.
Okay, so that's
ever.
important. Your mission is to wean people off tobacco, correct?
Without question.
You're not suggesting that there's a market out there, fertile ground, young people and the like, to actually start doing this from scratch.
No, it's never been about that. It never will be about that. This is an adult product meant for adults, and our focus as a company. And it's not. I'm not going to just stay up here and constantly talk about my brand and promote. I mean, there's we're not the only ones doing this. There's
Right.
some other great companies, and our focus overall is 100% committed to getting smokers to quit smoking and start vaping, a smoke-free lifestyle.
All right. Got to dwell on that for a minute. All right. We'll continue with Dino because that's maybe something that you haven't actually picked up on yet. If you'll hold on for a second, I just have to make a mention over here real quick about the folks at Cumberland Kitchen and Bath Design Center. I got a couple of notes, but basically what they're saying to you is, Dan did his kitchen. You may want to think about doing your bathroom. The truth of the matter is that contemplating a change for the bathroom can be as complicated as doing the kitchen. I know this though, the common ground between the kitchen and the bath, the design process is the same. A designer comes to see you and talks to you about your use of the bathroom. Maybe the kids need some more space. Maybe you'd like to be able to spend more quality time there for reasons that are your own and personal. But the process remains the same. A designer comes to your home, takes a look at your current bath, explores with you while they measure what they ought to do. They go back, they design, they come up with a plan, you work on it together. They're responsible for the excellent contract work, and I can promise that the work, like my kitchen was, will be on time and on budget, whether it's kitchen or bath. Cumberland Kitchen and Bath Design Center. More with Dino on this vaping thing. Stay with us. So on this conversation about vaping, the feds are involved and recently slammed down a little bit here. Let's take a look at it.
Manufacturers of most electronic cigarettes will have to meet federal health standards to stay on the market following Thursday's FDA ruling.
The rule also will allow the FDA to evaluate the ingredients of these additional tobacco products, how the products are made, and their potential impact on public health.
The ruling also bans selling e-cigarettes to anyone under 18. The action comes as e-cigarette use is on the rise among young Americans. In 2015, 3 million middle school and high school students used the devices.
Nicotine does not belong in the hands of children.
Some people use e-cigarettes thinking they're a healthy alternative to regular cigarettes, but the possible health benefits and harms of e-cigarettes remain unclear. It's also unknown whether they lead young people to become regular smokers. Thursday's ruling could have huge repercussions on the $3.5 billion industry. It goes into effect in 90 days.
Dino Baccari is the entrepreneur who has started the company White Horse Vapor, and you've got multiple locations now. You've got 3 major locations, correct?
Yeah, we currently have 2 retail locations in the greater Providence area, but our franchise system has allowed us to expand, through the franchise system, Houston, Dallas, Denver, Hartford, Connecticut coming soon. We have a small location in Pennsylvania. It's in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. It's grown very fast, and we're probably one of the fastest growing franchise systems in the country. Entrepreneur Magazine actually in June, they're going to put us on the 50 of 50 list, and it all started from a small store in Middle Spring Avenue.
All right, cool. Well,
So,
there's the spirit of your entrepreneurial success here. I support that success story. It's clearly a success story. The technology and the purpose for the technology is still somewhat of a, I don't know, low simmer worry, right? So we should talk more about that and try to clear up some misconceptions here. But react to that news story that you just saw and what the feds are doing here.
well, none of it was factual. So believe
None of it was factual.
There has never been one factual study that's ever been released that showed electronic cigarettes or vaping to be hazardous to someone's health once they've made the conversion. If anything,
once they made the conversion from smoking.
From smoking to vaping. And
Okay.
You've eliminated,
because it's 95% less dangerous because of the tobacco burn gone.
When you eliminate smoke out of your, when you're inhaling smoke, it's carbon monoxide. With vaping, that is eliminated, and there's no combustion.
But there's a nicotine, component to this.
Sure,
there's a worry about addiction to nicotine.
A worry is not factual. So, and it's so, what's amazing, I don't want to sound conspiracy-ish, but what's amazing part of when the deeming regulations were released last Thursday, on Friday, the Royal College of forgive me.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's a huge organization.
You know that Royal College.
It's literally they're not and there's no influence on the Royal College, and they released to the entire society that they should switch to vaping, and it's amazing that that report came out the day after the FDA released their deeming regulations.
Well, look, you know, I don't know. This is so far above my pay grade. You're advocating, and I mean that, to project whether this nicotine addiction is something that 20, 30 years from now we'll be saying, there's a time when tobacco was not considered to be so bothersome for you, and then all of a sudden, you know, it hits the fan, and there's cancer all over Kingdom Come, and we've got all of these. I have to tell you, smoking has got to be one of the biggest challenges society has. You want to talk about water running in two different directions to the same pipe. All we do, while it's legal, all we do is regulate it and price it out of the market. It's full of conflict. You don't have that challenge quite yet. Well, who knows what the nicotine facts will be down the line.
The categorization as for mere purpose of age verification has grouped us into the tobacco category, and that's very, very concerning. So we have a little bit of a fight in our hands, probably a big fight, I should say. But the health benefits, the worst, there's nothing worse. Any doctor will tell you there's nothing worse than you can put in your body than a cigarette. It's proven 1,000 times over. And 20% of the population in this world is still smoking cigarettes. Maybe it's less here in the States, but in a place like Rhode Island, you hover around 17%, and that's a good amount of smokers. And we've made an impact, a local impact. And there is an enormous...
On the number of smokers in the state?
There's an...
Do you have any data?
I can tell you how many customers we have. We're about 5,000 customers in a very short amount of time, in a year and a half. And there's personal stories that have been shared with us, you know, whether it's in a retail store or in the passing, that literally these people are feeling better. And it's an amazing breakthrough. Smoking is a disease, and the success rate with vaping, it hovers around 90%. The failure rate with patch, the gum, other alternatives that have come up, they're about a 90 to 97% failure rate.
Okay.
And it's bona fide information.
So smoking is a disease, vaping is a...
Vaping is the best alternative. It's a miracle. It's the best alternative ever known to mankind as a smoker to free their lives of smoking and a healthier lifestyle.
You might have gotten a couple of hints as to why he's blown this business sky high. When we come back, we'll talk about how it works and how people use it and all that kind of stuff. Stay with us. All right, so I have to tell you, all due respect to your new product, and that's disgusting. But so is smoking. I mean, listen. If you're a smoker, I'm not going to hold it against you. But man, I don't know what you're doing. Now listen, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I fire up a cigar every once in a while, which is about 30 times worse, right?
Yeah.
But
I used to be a big cigar.
But I don't inhale. You know.
Some guys do.
Yeah, which is disgusting. Let me retract. Let me just say, that's an uncomfortable sight. But hey, listen, that might be my bias. You have a mechanism here. By the way, did you just fire that up during the break a little bit? Yeah.
I did.
I took a little hit on that.
Smells good?
No. No.
That wasn't a
I mean, there was something
flavor.
that came on and I went, oh, what is that? But I'm very sensitive in my sensory situation.
If I took a puff of this one, it'd be totally different.
Yeah.
It's a blueberry flavor.
Well, show the mechanism. So is that, what is that?
I'll show you both of them.
Okay.
First, this is the starter version. This is our original disposable. We've been manufacturing from injection to packaging since day one. You can buy these at convenience stores or in one of our stores, but it's a 400 puff disposable electronic cigarette.
Show it to that camera right there.
Right here.
There you go.
And it mimics a cigarette, and it gives you a new user a nice hand-to-mouth sensation, and it's not as big as a cigarette. It's a little bit bigger, so it's a nice starting point. You know, when you get to the level of, you know, where I'm at, I haven't smoked a cigarette in 3 years. I didn't stand a chance. I want to just add this real quick. Growing up, I started smoking cigarettes at 14. My mother used to, 30 years ago, I'm 38. 30 years ago.
I'm glad you got to that because it's one of my questions. How'd you get into this, Dino?
Right. Well, my mom used to say we didn't know any better, and I don't fault my mom for it, but you know, 30 years ago, it was loosely, smoking was loosely, you know, around us everywhere. She used to say, go light this on the stove for me, you know, and I'd put it there, but you have to light it in Florida to light a cigarette on a stove. It's an electric stove. You got to take a puff of it. So, you know, so I started smoking cigarettes very young. My whole family smoked, but now I've converted them all to vaping, which is great.
Really?
But you know, for me, I started off with one of these, and now, don't be alarmed, your folks at home, but it's a little bigger. It has more power. It lets off more vapor. It's a 3-part system. It's run by battery. So is that, but bigger batteries. It gives off great flavor, more cloud of vapor, not smoke.
Okay.
And this is what I've graduated
So I shouldn't
to.
be disgusted. That was a tough word, wasn't it?
No, that was.
Did
I thought
you
you were
cringe?
asking about the camels that were on the racks.
But I just, it's amazing what people need and do. Everybody's got some kind of vice. Well, maybe not everybody, but
listen.
That looks like a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, and this is where. But what it does is what's exciting about it is it offers a lifestyle to a smoker, where they can change out flavors, they can change power levels, and they can, more importantly, from the health standpoint, they can reduce the level of nicotine. Penn State University, 2014 study.
Do you project and want your customers to wean themselves off your product as well? I mean, that doesn't make sense for the bottom line.
If it works better for them, absolutely. Because our main focus, and that's what my company, every employee in our company, we have 15 employees, we all sing the same tune each and every day. We're here to get people to quit smoking. If they choose not to use our products after 2 or 3 years, that's fine. But if they still would like the sensation, because the majority of smokers, it's like you almost, for whatever reason, you like the hand-to-mouth sensation. We offer 0 milligrams of nicotine.
Well, I'll tell you, you're at Twin River too, right?
Yeah. I love
you
to
know what?
clear the place up.
I completely support you at Twin River. That's for sure. I'm all in
Not to
because
be
that place is a health hazard. And the exemption on the smoking laws for public places at Twin River is something I've been banging against for a long time. Listen, I have no quarrel with Twin River's existence, and they're the largest non-tax revenue source of revenue to the state. I went over there to place a derby bet. I mean, I stunk. I was in there for 2 minutes. I came out stinking. So if you could make this happen across that facility, people can lose money in a much healthier way. So
talking about vices.
Good luck to you.
How about instead of limiting these products, how about we stand behind them? How about I don't believe that any cigarette company should ever be able to get into the vapor business, because of their track record. But we should be, and I got to commend Rhode Island. The lawmakers we've based a lot of our business model off of decisions that were made in Rhode Island to not categorize this product as a tobacco product and put it in its own category.
So a quick summary: you're not heavily regulated at all here in the state.
No, we were placed in our own category.
Right, your own category. Well, listen. Congratulations on building a successful business.
Thank you. Proud to be here.
It seems to be not fledgling now. It's onward and upward, isn't it?
It is. It's an amazing industry. It's a lot of fun. It's very gratifying to come to work every day. And these regulations, we're going to have to fight them. And I like to tell all your viewers at home that if you see someone vaping, they're not a monster. If they weren't vaping, they'd be smoking a cigarette outside of that restaurant or outside of that workplace. And there's secondhand smoke. And we eliminate secondhand smoke. Secondhand smoke, we eliminate it. There's no such thing as secondhand vapor.
All right.
This is
Uncle,
fun.
I'm hooked. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Final word when we come back. Stay with us. Like I said at the top, Mr. Jackson, the majority leader of the Providence City Council, now jammed up, allegedly, on campaign finance and embezzlement charges. Seems like it's back to one a week around here when it comes to local government. Everyone's innocent until proven guilty, but I will tell you that the Providence City Council needs to clean its act up. Campaign regulations seem to be, habitually not complied with in the Providence City Council. I got to go. I'm out of time. See you tomorrow.